What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is episode 20 of the Stream PC. We are super excited. 20 episodes down. We're insane, boys. We got a good one for you guys today. Let's get into it. All right, boys. All right. Listen. So I was hanging out. You guys know I've been on a little break. I was hanging out. Been trying to do some networking, meeting some new people. And I was checking out this one streamer. No names needed here. Checking out this new streamer, or new to me at least. And I was vibing. I was loving the content. I was enjoying it. And this person gets hit with a pretty decent sized raid, especially for that person, considering that I could tell they were kind of like, smaller, not used to big numbers and stuff. It's like a 50-person raid, dude. It's pretty insane. And they folded. I mean, froze up, and not in a good, like, comical way, not like a, oh, that's sweet or that's cute. It was just like a panic, anxiety filled, just like, everything we feel on the inside, but like, oh yeah, on the outside as well. So I was like, oh man, it was kind of hard to watch, and I never talked to that person, so I didn't really, offer any words of encouragement because I was like, I don't know what to tell you right here. I don't know you well enough. But I kind of just wanted to talk about that. Like, how do we handle big moments like that for new streamers listening, or aspiring streamers listening? How should they handle those moments? Like, what is the right way? So I sat here and I judged just now, right? I said they didn't handle it very well. Well, how should have they? What do you think, Lucky? How should somebody handle a big O raid like that, or anything like that?
I mean, we've kind of touched on it before in previous episodes, like what you should do when you get raided, regardless of the number. Sometimes it's helpful not to look at how many people are coming in. That way you try to keep that same energy regardless.
Right.
And you don't get like, deer in headlights kind of moment or anxiety or anything like that, which I've experienced myself. We'll talk on that later.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
But whenever you get rated, it's good to keep that hype energy going. People are coming in. Obviously, normally the streamer that's bringing a raid in with you, especially a bigger streamer that's got more people, he normally tries to hype everybody up before the raid happens. So you want to try and keep that energy, up there, keep it going. Tell a little bit about yourself. Let people know who you are, what games you stream, what you do. And just keep it fun.
Yeah, fun is key for sure. I think the thing is consistency. Like you were talking about, we've talked in the past, it shouldn't matter what size the raid is. You should always have like the same consistent energy, same consistent message, and it should be kind of rehearsed at the end of the day. Not necessarily like robotically rehearsed, but you should have like a basic idea of what you're going to say every time you get a raid. Telling them a little about yourself, just like Lucky was talking about. Tell them about what you're doing in game, thanking them for the raid, making sure you're telling everybody, thank you for coming in. And if you guys need to use the restroom, if you need to get some food, you need to get some water, take care of yourself first, and then enjoy the show. But I think that's the most imperative thing. Just being like a duck on water, where your legs are going a mile a minute, and you're freaking out under the surface, but up top, you're beautiful and just elegantly moving through things.
Yeah, no, and I think, like you guys both just said, like we touched on it before, and I think back then, I think that advice was kind of at like your more kind of established person, and we had mentioned in the past, like, you don't, I think it was me, right? I got double back raid to raid. I got a small raid, and I was just like, hey, yo, thank you. And then I got that big one, and I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh, that other person's still here. I probably made him feel bad. So yeah, that episode was super great. But this guy, they were clearly new. And whether they looked at the number or not, I mean, they went from like a non-existent movement chat to just like, you know how it is, emote wall was going. Oh, yeah. So like whether they wanted to look at the number or not, they knew something was happening. So
I mean, it's overwhelming for sure.
Absolutely.
Like whenever you go from nothing to everything, it's always a big adjustment. but your goal is to be consistent and entertaining.
Right.
Don't overact what you would normally do. Don't do less than you would normally do, because at the end of everything, you're trying to let them know who you are and what you do. And if you can get them with that, then they're going to enjoy your content moving forward. If you create something that you're not, and they see that and they're like, wow, that's really cool, and then they come back next time and you're not like that, you didn't create somebody that's going to be watching you very long. What's the
Right.
point?
Yeah.
And let's be honest here, even if there was a massive raid, most of those people aren't actually going to watch the content and hang out for a long time. It's just not viable to think that
Yeah.
way,
I
honestly.
mean, most of them are there because they're still supporting the streamer that they've
Mhm.
were watching.
Mhm.
You know, I agree with that. But your goal is whenever they come over to your channel is to try to capture the eyes of at least 1, 2, maybe 5 people out of that massive raid. You know, even if you get
Mhm.
one person that keeps coming back, that's a win.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to bring that up. It's like, you see that 50-person raid, and let's say you handle it well and you're funny, you're outgoing, you're just, this big bubble of energy and everybody just, chat is vibing with you. And then you do your next stream and like none of those people come back. I have a real big personal problem where I take that personally. I'm like, oh, why did I not retain any of that? These two know. That's why Lucky's laughing because he knows how many times we've stayed up late at night in the Discord, and I'm just like, what did I do wrong? And like he's like, shut up, nothing, you're fine.
Yeah.
And
You
I'm
do
like,
nothing wrong.
nobody followed, nobody stayed, nobody came back. Like those things happen, and it's exactly what Sauce just got done saying. Is like they're there to support the streamer to help that streamer look good, and then they're dipping. Whether you're playing the same game or not, they have an attachment to that streamer already. It's very hard to get that out of a raid when somebody comes in to capture their attention, and all that. So yeah, definitely. If you can get one or two, one alone is a W. Two, you're freaking winning. More than that, you're amazing. So definitely. The
Let
way
me ask you guys a question. If you're watching a movie, like one of your favorite movies, and you're like, that was great, but then the theater like puts on another movie just right back to back, are you really wanting to watch a whole nother movie at that point? Or you're like, man, that was a good movie, but I'm kind of tired.
I gotta go
Depends
piss.
on what this other movie is.
It does.
Depends on what the other movie
It
is.
does depend on that. So, can you get somebody's attention and make them want to watch your stream? Yes, you can. If you're that fit for them.
Yeah,
But the odds are they're tired. They just got done watching a stream. That is their normal time to watch streams.
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
And now you're out of their normal time period. And they're like, kind of sleepy. Maybe I should go to bed, or a little hungry, or tired of sitting here. Been here for 3-4 hours now watching my other guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
don't expect massive growth from a raid to begin with. Like that's not what raids are for. I know that's what people like to think is, oh, if I get this one massive raid from Sweet Tails, or if I get this one massive raid from Ninja, whatever, you're going to be the most well-off person. You're going to be like the
It's
next
happening. Right.
guy.
No, never works.
And that's just not usually how it works. Now, can it work that way? Can you get rated from that person and then your community blow up at that point? It can happen, but it's not likely to happen. So don't put all your eggs in that basket. So don't freak out about it. Odds are it's not that important whenever you get that raid, any more important than that 3-person raid. Because guess what? If you got that 3-person raid and all 3 of them show up to the next stream, and only one from the other raid shows up to the next stream, which raid was actually more important for you?
Exactly.
Right. You said something that got the wheels turning up here that was just like, oh, is he on to something here? So if I'm in the movie theater and I finish watching my movie, right, and I'm starting to get up and leave, right, because I'm a Marvel fan, so I usually stay till the end to make sure there's no extra clip or something, I'm walking out and leaving. If that other thing starts doing commercials and it starts doing, I'm out. Like I'm just not gonna capture my attention. I'm gone. But if it started immediately with the movie and it was immediately at like a high point, or it's like one of those movies that do a good job at just capturing you from the get, You know,
Mhm.
I might be like walking downstairs and be like, wait, what's going on over here? Like I don't, I don't pick a movie on top of my head. Like, Baywatch comes on and it's like, oh, there's some distracting elements on the screen right now. Let me look at that. Like, I'm just saying, like that is a way. So in my head just now, what I played through is you get a raid instead of being like, hi everybody, I'm Aztecan59 and I play COD and I do this, which is my usual monkey dance. Should just immediately just get up and start just throwing it back. Like I've got to grab your attention right now. Listen, guys, I'm actually really cool. Like that.
Put the panda head on. We're having a twerk party.
Okay, so that's an interesting one that you just brought up. I got raided by somebody with panda in their name, and I did that because I was like, oh my god, his name's Panda. I assume he's got panda themed items in his stream. I would assume so. It's in his name, right? So literally, the moment I turn around, I put that head on, I was like, Panda, let's do it, baby. Because I was like, bro, like I'm gonna capture somebody. Unfortunately, we captured 0 people. All right, 0 people, but maybe they thought I was making fun of him or something. I don't know. But yeah, so that's a good idea. Like I didn't think about that. So and us answering your question of how to handle those big moments, I think maybe that's it. But Sauce also said, like, don't do something out of your norm. So if you don't normally get up and dance, or like you don't normally do whatever it is that your idea just happened as we said that, don't do it. Unless you're gonna make it a thing that you do. I wouldn't do anything abnormal.
Just be true to yourself.
Yeah. Because then, like Sauce said, they're going to expect that out of you. And then when they come back and they see that that's not it, they're going to be gone. So, yeah. And I think that's a cool segue into like tips when people are like, I don't know what to post to like TikTok or something. Like also the same thing. Like if you just post your like super, super hype moments and stuff and people come in and you're just like, today's a chill stream. We're just hanging out. They're gone. They're not even chatting. They're gone.
I've run across that a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. We all want to post our good moments. We all want to post the moments that we think, oh my God, my community loved this. And you should. But at the same time, like if it's not something that you bring regularly, like you said, or consistently, like you said, I don't think it's not really worth posting. Because if somebody comes in and they don't see that, it's gone. And unfortunately, thanks to the world that we're in of TikTok and shorts and all that, is like that's people's attention span. They're going to come in. If they do the work to even look up your name, you should be thankful because nobody wants to do that anymore. And then if they're in there for 5 seconds and you're just being like, oh yeah, guys, we're just now starting. It's super like, yeah, they're gone, dude. So that is interesting. You guys want to talk about some ways to not handle the big moment real quick? I know there's so many, but I think you see TikToks or, YouTube shorts or whatever of people handling it incorrectly and it working out for them, right? They start crying and it gets emotional, but they're like able to like collect themselves and like speak on like why they just got emotional and it wasn't just like a big ugly cry. People who are shocked and frozen and then they kick in and start like being awesome, So I think to me, like the opposite would be like that never kicks in, like you're just like the whole time and you just don't ever,
I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to do it. It's just you have to do whatever works for you. And if you're a person that can handle it, you're a person that can handle it. If you're not a person that can handle it, you either got to fake it or you got to deal with not being able to handle it. Because if your reaction is to cry because something crazy happens and, they're quote unquote breaking the streamer, then do that. And then explain why it means so much to you. I'm not above saying that I've cried on stream before. It's happened. Like I've been broken before because people so freaking generous and just sharing so much love and positivity. And
oh yeah,
it's stuff that you don't really expect and it just happens. So
at the end of the day, we're all human.
Yeah. We all have emotions. We all
have emotions.
We all do, even Aztecan, who likes to say he doesn't. He does have those emotions.
Sauce is not human. Sauce is not human.
Well, I might be alien, but whatever. Maybe I'm a lizard person. You don't know. Yeah,
I'm the last one that can sit here and be like, oh yeah, I don't show emotion on stream. Like, fucking, especially like right after my mom passed, like Crash had bought like a tie-dye shirt from a merch shop. And that's my mom's favorite thing is fucking tie-dye. And she like showed me or like sent it to me while I was live. She's like, look what I just bought. And I looked over there and I fucking broke. I literally just went on break, didn't say anything. Went in there, got rid of the tears, came back and was like, all right, guys, like we're good. Like that. that shit's hard, dude, because you're human, like you said, you know. But when I say like how not to handle it, you know, I just mean like one of like what pops in my head when I would tell somebody don't handle it this way is I wouldn't be an ass, you know. I wouldn't be like, oh, thanks for that 1 viewer raid, bro. Like,
yeah,
why
we're going back
even
to
raid
that.
out? We've been there, we've
famous
seen
TikTok
it.
video
We've been there, we've been there,
that
we've
went
seen it.
viral.
You know, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's like I wouldn't be ungrateful, because ungrateful is one of the most unattractive things a streamer could be ever. You know,
What was that guy? He like got raided by like 2 viewers, and he's like, "Why did you even raid me? Why did you even bring them here?" And I'm like,
it's like, why did you even waste your time setting up the raid? I was like, well, I remember me and you were talking about that for days. Like, it was just like, what the heck?
People be peopling, man. People be peopling.
But you know, there's a way to, if you really feel that way, and I guess it's okay, especially if you're, you know, starting to get up there in your numbers. I really, for me, it's just those big partnered streamers who already average a bunch. He's like, they have the ability to set in there, okay, like I want the minimum of this to raid me. That way they're not just getting spammed over and over again with, like, you know, little unintended, like, you know, intentionally trolly raids.
I could see that, you because know. they just want, there are people who just want to have their name put on their screen,
right,
kind of thing.
Right. You know, because I think, you know, they're for a long time, and I think still today, obviously, but I think people utilize raids for the wrong reason. Like, they go and raid a bigger streamer just hoping to get follows off of it. You know, I mean, I've had a couple of times where I've raided somebody and I start getting followers. I'm like, I'm with Sauce in the chat or in Discord. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, I just got like 3 followers off that raid. And he's like, hell yeah, dude. I'm like, that's never happened. And he's like, yeah, cool. But I think a lot of people fish for that, you know. I think we've talked about that before. You know, so yeah. But yeah, I love what you said. Like, Zoss, there's like no wrong way to really do it. But I know for me, when I was starting out and I was learning about all this stuff, you know, like I said, I took it to heart if I couldn't retain or even get a follow. You know, I also took it to heart because then I start questioning, what did I do wrong? What did I not do right? You know, which is always a good thing as a streamer, to question what you're doing and kind of, but the way I was doing it was just it was too much. You know, I was putting way too much pressure on. So, yeah, I think just being genuine works. You know, I think Sauce said just a minute ago, like, fake it till you make it, basically is like what you were headed to. Like, and you know, how many people do you think do that? And then they make it. And then, you know, all of a sudden the truth starts to come out of, like, you know, who they are or like what they do, and then everybody's just like, oh, I don't like this person anymore. What? They faked it in order to get where they're at, and then people didn't like the real them. So was it worth it to get to that point?
Well, what I mean when I say fake it till you make it is, like, if you are nervous, act like you're not. That's what I mean. I don't mean like have a different persona or anything, because obviously there's persona streamers, yada yada.
Right.
But what I'm talking about is, like, if you're nervous, don't act like you're nervous, which I know is easy to say, but that's technically faking it till you make it, because eventually you'll be used to getting things like that happening. You'll be used to getting those bigger numbers. You'll be used to having people consistently chatting in your stream. At first, it's foreign to all of us. Nobody knows how to stream whenever they start streaming. Not nobody. Right. Except maybe Katie. She probably knew.
But that's an interesting way to look at it too. I mean, you really won't know how you're gonna react to a big raid until you have a big raid, you know. Nobody's technically prepared for it, because you're not going to be prepared for it, because you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right. I'm telling you right now, the 3 of us is here and talk about it, and we get like a 10,000 person raid tomorrow, and I'm shitting myself. It's live.
I'll freak out.
It's gone.
I'm not gonna lie to you and say I'm not gonna freak out, but I'm gonna do my best to try to fake it.
Right. I'd freak out. I would. Yeah. I won't freak out like I did last time, but I'll freak out.
I mean, okay, so I think
more mentally prepared now.
While we're also talking about faking it, I think that's super awesome, because I feel like Sauce, I feel like you gave me that same speech, because remember I had come to you a long time ago and I was like, man, I'm worried about like coming off as fake, you know, and you gave me like that same spiel, you know. And it's so funny because shout out to Nana, who we had on not too long ago. It was just one of her affiliate streams, and we were playing that question game. You guys see where I'm going with this right now?
Yeah.
So one of the things we asked her was like, you know, what was your first impressions of all of us, you know, because we were just playing a fun little question game for her affiliate anniversary. And she was like, when I first met Aztec, I didn't like him because he was overconfident. Which is like literally right after me and Sauce had this conversation of like, just, just be confident, just do you and be who you want to be in 2 years from now as a streamer, and at that time that I was honing it. I was just like, what's going on, everybody? And I thought that was hilarious. And she brought that up. She was like, yeah, I didn't like it because you were overconfident. I was like, he doesn't even have numbers. Like he doesn't even have anybody watching him. And he's over here like having a great time, and then she was super kind and said, now looking back on it, he's where he wanted to be. And I'm like, yeah. So that is super awesome. But all right, guys, let's talk about some big moments. Some of your biggest moments on stream. Okay. Whatever your heart's desire, whatever you're set on, that you think would be a good example for this. Sauce, what's your biggest moment? How did you handle it? Did you do it well? Would you go back and change? What would you do? What was it? What would you do? What did you do?
Honestly, I think I have a couple different moments that I could talk about. Some that I didn't handle so well, some that I handled, fine, and others that I'm just really, really proud of. The one I didn't handle very well was my first raid that I got from a buddy of mine named Super Cubby. This was like a 100-person raid whenever I was like just barely an affiliate. I was playing Pokemon and I just get this massive raid and I'm just like, oh my God. And like I start like just, trying to like stream and hang out and talk to everybody. And I'm just like, thank you guys so much. And I kind of freaked out a little bit and didn't stay normal.
Geeked out.
A little bit. And my heart was beating a mile a minute. And
I bet.
It was like one of those things where you're just like, oh my God. So, like I said, I've been in your shoes where I didn't know what to do. And, it is what it is. But it's one of those things you just got to kind of figure out as you go. You don't know how you're going to react until you're in that position.
Right.
I've also had moments where I've been gifted like 100 subs at a time. And that was shocking because that doesn't happen. Like that's a lot of freaking money. Let's be honest here. If you're dropping 100 subs on somebody, you crazy. Okay. Yeah. You crazy. And Mr. Husky, you crazy. Okay. But that I was just showed appreciation. I try to do this thing where I give them something for donating or for gifting biddies, whatever it is. Like I do hot sauce shots, like Taco Bell packets of different spicy levels, and I let them pick whichever number 1 through whatever, and then I'll take that for 500 biddies. Every 5 gifted subs, we do a toxic waste candy. So when he gifted 100 of those, I had to do 20 toxic waste candies.
Oh my God! At the same time?
Yes, it was absolutely terrible. I hated my life.
You're playing Fluffy Bunny with.
I was playing Fluffy Bunny with toxic waste candies. It was terrible. I never want to do that again. My tongue was terrible the next day. But I like to make sure they have something like that in order to do so. But I think the proudest moment I've had is whenever my wife was streaming. She like starts the stream up and you see the whole community come in and just support her, like full support, all the love, and just there for her. That's probably the biggest moment for me for streaming, is knowing that you guys care enough about me to care enough about my wife and maybe care about her more even than you do me. And that's huge,
Hey, we all love Mama Sauce.
Absolutely. I was there for that whole stream. And I'm so happy to say, agree with you, is like not a single negative thing was said. Like no troll, no nothing, dude. It was just so good. And she handled that so freaking well, dude. Like she looked like she'd been doing it for years. And she said it was just sitting back watching you do it, man. So that's got to make you proud, dude.
Until that Sauce guy got back on camera.
It was a great stream until he got on there. I mean, goes downhill from there.
The jealousy kicked in. He's like, oh, hey, get out of here, get out of here.
This is my camera.
That shit was funny, dude.
This is my chair.
So would you go back and change any of that, or?
I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
And the reason I think that I wouldn't change anything, even like my freak out whenever I got my big raid, was because I learned from it.
Growing pains.
You grow, you learn, you don't do everything right the first time. I mean, it's proven that you learn more by failing than you
Right.
do by succeeding. So the more you fail, the more you don't do it right, the more you figure out how to do it right. So
Yeah.
I'd say
I
I
mean,
wouldn't change anything.
that's one of my favorite quotes of all time is each failure is a stepping stone for success. I love thinking of
Mhm.
it that way. Yeah, that's a big deal. So with your experience and tenure today, you wouldn't go back and change it, but how do you handle those things now today? Like what do you do differently now than when you were freaking out and new? So now when you get a raid, 30 people, how are you, you're just
Exactly the same as I am if I get a rate of 2 people,
exactly.
because there's zero
Mhm.
difference. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, it's another streamer sharing their community with you. It doesn't matter if it's one person or if it's 150 people or if it's 1,572. It doesn't really matter. It's People like to say it's the thought that counts, and it is the thought that counts
Yeah, 100%.
whenever they're talking about rates. So, just try to be you the entire time, be consistent.
That's fair. Before we get to you, Lucky, I will say, like, I was one of those people, and I know somebody out there listening is either had the same thought or maybe currently has the same thought. I was one of those people at first when I started streaming, I didn't want to raid out because I was so scared because in my head, like, this was my little chatter. I was like, I don't want them to find somebody cool and then like not come back to me. You know what I mean? Like I know most new streamers go through that. Like some percentage of them have to at least. Like because like you're like crazy, right? You're like, oh, I have a chatter. Like this is my new best friend. Like this is the person. Especially if they come back, every stream or whatever. And I just, again, we talked about that, like not even 3 episodes ago, where not everybody belongs to you. People are
Yeah, you
people.
can't you
So
can't keep your chatters in a box. You
oh
have to set
yeah,
them free.
as much as you want to, but yeah. All right, Lucky, what is your biggest moments? Let's hear some of your biggest moments in your career, man, and how did you handle them? Did you do good? Were you not so hot?
um, well, I said we would talk about it later, and I can relate. It's in relation with a big, massive raid. It was a big moment, biggest raid I ever had, and also one of the biggest chokes and failures I ever had.
Oh no.
Uh, I got raided. I think we were playing Ark Survival,
Yep.
and it was like 136, 140 some people raid,
It
and
was
I was like immediately just a deer in headlights. It
it was
was
like
just me looking
146.
at the camera, eyes big and wide, like what the fuck is happening right now? And I didn't know what to say. I forgot who I was. I didn't know my name. All I knew is that there was a big raid that come in, and they're watching me now. And hi.
I barred games, Lucky.
Hi, me, Lucky Bot Games. Hi, welcome.
I think one of the meanest things that Twitch does is they put the number of raiders in your
In the
chat.
chat. In the
Oh yeah,
chat.
So you
in the
can't
chat.
avoid it. Like, I remember people used to put you've been rated by and without the number as their alert, just to where they wouldn't change it at all. But then Twitch started putting it in the chat, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
there it is.
Yeah.
but no, other than that, it was solid. A lot of that people that was with that raid mostly only watched Ark Survival. So I did get follows from that, but once I got off of Ark Survival, I never saw them again. You
Yeah.
know, which is
Mhm.
understandable. They want to see
Right.
Ark Survival. That's what they're gonna
Mhm.
watch.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Probably the other thing I would say was probably one of the biggest moments that I remember is it's a kind of a couple of different times that it's happened, but something that I would say my community, but it's kind of like our community at this point. Um, I love it whenever people come into the community that's fairly new, but they do it all the right way. They network correctly and everything, and then they start to pick up streaming or something, and then I love how the community just jumps in to help.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go check you out. If I like your content, I'll drop you a follow. I'll help you get up to that 50 mark. We'll try to get you affiliate. And it's not like a follow for follow, support for support kind of thing. It's like, hey, they came in, they seem really cool. They hang out. We like this person. They're our new bestie. It's really cool to see that.
It's super inspiring. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dude.
As far as what I would have done different or if I regretted anything, I probably wouldn't have, because I'm the kind of person that learns from mistakes.
Yeah.
So if I never make a mistake, I'm not learning.
Right.
I would say that the way that I have adapted to raids now, though, is like, have you ever noticed how back in the day I would always be like, oh, such and such is rating me with 2 viewers. Like I would announce how many viewers were coming in. Now I never say the number of viewers, and I don't look at my chat immediately. I try to glimpse at the name of who's rating me. And then don't look at anything else. I look back at the game, which is kind of like where my camera is for my game monitor. That way I can kind of look at the monitor and be like, hey, welcome in everybody. Thanks so much for the raid. And I just get into my whole spiel. And not saying the view numbers to me is, good for not only me, but also for the raider if they only raid with like 2 people. Because if you announce like, oh, they raided me with 2 people, welcome in everybody, that the person that's raiding brought their people with you, that might make them feel a little bit bad. It's like, oh great, you had to announce that I only brought 2 people with me. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, try not to look at the number at all. If you guys have been in my stream when I get a raid, you guys know that I have a little jingle that plays. And I always sing along with the jingle every single time. And then I see the name afterwards because it pops up on my screen. And then I thank them for that. Thank you for sharing your community with me. And then I do my little welcome spiel. But definitely try to avoid.
Raider.
Welcome in, you Raiders. Welcome in, you Raiders. And thank you for trusting me with your community.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm watching an episode of Blue's Clues when you get raided.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much the song. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
Yeah. That shit's funny, dude. I love that you brought up that moment, Lucky, because I was the mod for you that night, and I felt like I was equally with you. Like I was freaking out with you, and I was sitting there trying to like shout out the Raider and thank the Raiders and welcome everybody in. And I look up and I'm like, I haven't heard anything for a second. And you're just like, ah! I was like, oh no. I was trying to do sound alerts or something. I was trying to like help, and I was like, oh my god, it was just such a great moment.
We gotta bring him back. We gotta bring him back in. Ground him.
Right.
If I could reach through the monitor and slap him.
You got to slap a hoe sometimes.
And I don't know if I ever told you this, because I don't think back then, like we obviously hit it off from the beginning, and we've been close since the beginning, but obviously not nowhere near as close as we are now today. But that moment for me is what helped me settle in to becoming comfortable, like as a streamer. Because then I realized, like, somebody to me at that time, especially somebody like as adept as you are, like as secure as you were as a streamer back then, like for you to freeze like that made me just realize, like, I can fucking do this. Like if he's still human, he still had a great time. I watched all the followers you got. I was like, okay, no, this is fine then. I have nothing to fear. I can do this.
So he's like, you know what? If Lucky can fuck up, then I've got this.
This guy sucks. I can do it. He can't even talk.
All right. Yeah, I try to say something nice here. Like,
I understand, brother. I appreciate it.
it was just super inspiring because I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, like he's like in my head, you were just like this big time, like, you know, oh, like, I'm super cool, Lucky Barn, like I'm cool, you know, like so it was really cool to see you humanized in that moment, you know.
Super cool, Lucky Bird. I'm the cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's never going to be that. We need to go ahead and remove those titles.
Yeah. So before Lucky, because you technically would have been my first biggest raid that I felt like I failed at. Before that, I had got like one of those like shadow raids or what are they called? Those, you know, where people come in together, but it's not an actual raid. It's like what are they called? They used to be real popular, like silent raid or something. I don't remember.
Like a bot raid?
No. Like it's a group of people that intentionally will like bombard you. Like they used to do this all the time. And like
there would be a streamer and his only content was to get a bunch of people together, select someone to raid, and then they would raid out, but he would still go back and be live,
right,
kind of thing.
Right. So he never officially raided you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I had one of those, and immediately just like I was new and I was like in the middle of my game, and like I look over and I see somebody chatting, but back then I was like so new that I thought like the game was more important, so I was like still doing the game. So when I finally got back to like in a position to catch up with chat, like at first it was all like, hey, cool, like what's up, you know, and then like as I was catching up, it was like, okay, don't even know how to chat, why are you even streaming, you suck at chatting, get better. And I immediately handled it kind of like I do today, so I considered it a failure back then. But I was just like, if you don't like it, don't be here. Like, fuck off. You know, you're streaming to 0 people back then, kid. You can't be that way. You know, so back then I looked at it as a mistake. I mean, now today I say the same thing. So
I didn't learn a damn thing.
I didn't learn nothing. I learned, you know, that's how I felt, and that's how I was gonna be with it. You know, so yeah, and you know, it just felt like it was a setup, you know, because I wasn't ready. Like now today, the rate that chat was moving back then, that was nothing. You know, like I could keep up with that today, but it just felt like it was just so overwhelming because at that time I had the wrong mindset. It was game first, chat second. You know, well nowadays bigger streamers will tell you that's correct. Game first, chat second. You know, so it just really depends on, I guess, the level you're at and who you talk to and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, just do you, you know. Yeah, and then yours was really cool. I got to meet you. You talked, you know, Toon talked, all kinds of people talked.
Miss
you know,
Toon.
And I do too. And you know, all you guys left. He was super late. You know, I get it now. You had to work. You know, but Toon stayed with me, and he became my little friend for the next like 3 months. You know, slowly introduced me like to you officially and stuff. Like, it was super cool, man. Like that dude set up everything. So. Yeah, I mean, I think exactly like Sase stole it. It's really what I wanted to say is, you know, I wouldn't go back because like learning from it is, you know, what made us today who we are. So if you're new out there and you're listening and you're just like, I want to know how to handle things, don't listen to anything we're saying and handle it your way, and then figure out how you like it, you know, how you feel about it. So you got to make yourself and, you know, figure out who and how you want to do things. You know, the way Sauce does things where he sings and he says thank you to that person, that's right for him. The way Lucky no longer says the number and he just, you know, hyped about it, that's right for him. So it's just everybody's just a little different. So you gotta figure out your own way. As far as like biggest moment for me, it'd have to be $150 dono to the Cash App. I had to embarrassingly get up and take my shirt off and dance. There's some backstory to that. Okay, I didn't just
got the clip.
Oh god, I didn't just take it off. You know, we were playing multiplayer Call of Duty, and I'm like going back and forth with I think Golden or somebody, and he was like, "Take your shirt off." I was like, "Bro, that's gonna cost you $150." He's like, all right, chat, you guys heard him, $150. I was like, yeah. Then I went with it. I was just like, yeah. Anybody that donates me $150 right now. I think I said 100. I said 100.
You said 100, yeah.
Yeah.
I said $150.
Yeah. I was like $100 right now. I'll take my shirt off and dance. I don't care. And then, you
Dude
know,
said, "I'll give you 100 and I'll raise it."
DZ was like, "Are
DZ
you?"
said, "Bet."
He said, "You gonna stand on business?" And I was like, "Yeah, if I said it, I'll do it." Yeah. Then I started going into the spiel about how, like, you know, my kids watch my streams, so like if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. You know. And then as I'm about to say, like, I'll let everybody come together and do it. I don't care. And boo, he's like, "Look at your cash app." I look down, like I'm kind of shaking at this point. I look down at my phone. I just see that notification. It's like, all right, guys, I guess we're doing
"You
this.
son of a bitch."
Called my bluff.
He called my bluff.
So that would probably be my biggest moment, you know. And I think
poker
that
face wasn't pokering.
yeah, it was a pucker face at that point.
That was your asshole, sir.
Oh, felt like my face because they were both very red. What? No. And then I think the three of us share a very big night all together, right? Our good friend Tigger comes in. He finds me on TikTok because I'm streaming to TikTok at the same time back then. And he gifts me was it a Phoenix, which is like $400 to buy. And for TikTok, it converts to me making $136 out of that. So he spent almost $500. It's like I think it's $4.99. So it's like $500. He spends $500 on this damn gift on TikTok. Gives me that, right? And I had a feeling like it was something special, but I looked over and I was just like, "Oh, Phoenix! Whoa, it's super cool." And they like changed my screen and did all this weird stuff, and I was just like, "Yo, thank you." I was like, "I don't know how much that is, so I don't really know how to react here, but thank you so much." And he was like, "Are you live on Twitch?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm live on Twitch." And he comes over and then gifts me 156 subs on top of already spending $500 on me. Mm-hmm. That was ridiculous, you know. And for anybody that's like, "Why was this not your best moment?" I wanted it to be our best moment, so I did my own best moment. Anyways, so I'm dancing, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, showing appreciation. And I'm like, at that point, it was already the end of my stream. I was tired. I was like, all right, I'm going to raid out. I'm going to go check out my boy Sauce. And he's like, "Who's that guy talking in the background with you?" Because Lucky was in the background, like fucking mind blown with me, you know? I was like, "Oh, that's Lucky Bard. He's tagged in the bio. Go check him out." Then he goes and drops you, what, 100 and something? 100 and...
Yeah, it was like 120 subs. Bro. And the thing that that was about Tigger is that he was willing to see what you're wanting to do for
it feels dirty when you say it that way. Okay.
You know, so it's kind of like, so with Aztec, and he got to just dance. He danced his ass off. Yeah,
literally.
For me, mine was rough. Mine was bad. I had to do Bean Boozles every 5 gifted subs. He gifted 120, 140 subs.
Yeah,
that was a rough night. My stomach was fucked.
Gross.
So he's over there with Lucky, and I'm just sitting here mind blown because in my head I'm like, this dude just gifted me 156, and then he goes and gets Lucky 140 something. I'm like, no way. So in my head, I'm like, all right, well, I'm raiding out the Sauce. You know, at this point, I don't expect anything. I'm like, there's, you know, not to call anybody any kind of broke or talk about any kind of pockets. You know, but I was like, there's no way. So I raid out the Sauce.
That's a lot of pockets.
So he goes over there and he literally asked Sauce. He was like, "What do you do for subs?" And then Sauce is just like, at that point, because Sauce is playing a whole different game. We're over here playing Call of Duty. So Sauce has no idea what's going on. And Sauce is like, "Oh yeah, for every blah 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 subs, I do a hot bean or is it hot shot? Hot shot.
I do hot sauce shots. And I did toxic waste candies.
And back then you had that hot ass bottle.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, it wasn't the Taco Bell package then. It was it was that strong stuff.
And he gifted you 100 and something as well. Like I think yours was like 125 or something like that. On top, like just a crazy night. Man did over 300 gifted sub, bro.
You guys told me about it in chat, what was happening, and I was like, all right, cool. There's no way he's gonna do that here because that just doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know who I am. He's just here. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm safe then. And I was not safe. I was not safe.
Tigger loved bringing the chaos, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know and that's going to be a night. I mean, that's forever. I mean, it's just going to be something the three of us share, you know. It's just crazy night, right place, right time, and we talked to him afterwards, and he was just like, I loved your guys' energy, he's like, I loved, going in,
Really,
and
really cool dude.
yeah,
Really
he's
cool dude.
still a part of the community to this day. I mean, he works full time. Obviously, it's how he could afford all that shit, and he's very busy. But every chance we get to play with him, he comes in, and I don't even like playing Apex, but he's like, "Yo, you want to play Apex?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." Like, we're
Yeah.
playing Apex, dude. So, yeah, I like it. I just don't. It's not my main game, but yeah. So yeah, talk some big moments there. That's definitely gonna be on my wall of fame forever, dude. Like,
Mhm.
that's it was just so crazy, especially at the time, the size of streamer that all of us were, then it's just such a blessing, dude. There's just no other word I can use right there. It was such a good night. And our communities all went crazy. At that time, I wouldn't even, we all had like 3 separate communities pretty much. They were just starting that formation of like morphing together, so all of them lost their brains, and it was so fun, dude. Speaking of the community, Lucky, why don't you walk us into how do you give back to your community? Should you give back to your community? What is the reason you would give back to your community?
So I personally think giving back to the community is an important part. You know, just it's really mostly my opinion, but if you do all this take, it's important to put little things in there to give back. Even if it's making a trolley redeem for them to troll you, or doing your every 5 subs, you do something in response. 500 bits, you do something in response. That's giving them something back for what they're giving you. It's to show appreciation. You can even do like little things like small giveaways or something like that if you wanted to. I don't recommend always doing giveaways, because then you have people that are just showing up just for that, and it's not really not like building a true, like, or it's not like an organic growth kind of thing, because then you just have people showing up because of a giveaway that you'll never see again. But that's kind of my ideas on it.
All right. So I agree
Wait.
and disagree.
Wait, Sauce, before you get into your spiel, I
Okay.
think you can feed off of what I'm gonna say. You look at, you use the word take, but they're giving you. You're not taking anything. I agree with you that we need to give back, but it's not because we're taking. They're spoiling us. Go ahead, Sauce. I'm so sorry. I felt like you were gonna go.
It's very similar. So I agree and disagree with some of these points. So I don't think you are taking anything from anybody. They're giving you something because they think you deserve it, because you're making content that they enjoy. Just like if someone makes a piece of music or a movie, you pay to go watch that movie, you pay to listen to music. It's the same thing for content here. They're paying you because they want you to be able to continue doing that. Now, I think you should be doing those things that you talked about anyway, because that's how you keep things interesting. That's how you build more of a connection. Because now, since I do this, people think that's funny, and it's an incentive in order for them to donate. So, giving people incentives and giving back is different to me, because giving back would be like every 25 subs, I'll gift a sub out to my community. That's giving back, because that's you actually paying money out of your pocket just to benefit that at that point, Now, if you want to give back to your community like that, if you want to like have like a giveaway where you give away like merch or whatever, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But don't feel like you're obligated to do so.
Yeah.
Because no one is obligated to give you money. No one is obligated to spend their time there. That is all their choice at the end of the day. Now, I'm thankful for everyone that decides to do that for me, because obviously I use that money to help pay my bills because that's what I do as a full-time content creator.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it is their choice to do so. So you're not taking anything from anybody. You're just accepting the generosity of people that have decided to give you that money, in my opinion.
So, Lucky's whole face is like, nope, I'm taking. Like
I'm
that's
taking.
that's the whole look I'm reading out of you. No,
And I'm half asleep.
yeah. I mean, you know, Sauce is absolutely right. You know, I've watched you for a long time, dude. You've never told anybody, hey, you need to do this for me or I can't be here. You never told anybody, do this or don't be here. You know, you've never done anything like that or said anything like that. So you're not taking anything. You're not begging for it. You know what I mean? Like you don't even do like half the things that I do for incentive, my version of incentive, which is like, hey, I'm gonna put this money goal up here and you guys can get this if it happens, you know. If anything, that would be like me versus you, I ask versus you. So yeah, you don't take at all, dude. And as far as it goes, I agree though. I agree, you know, without them, we wouldn't definitely be where we're at, you know. Sauce wouldn't be doing this full time, you know. So I do believe in giving back, but I, you know, almost never. I mean, I do it once a year or for Fiesta Miss, but almost never am I giving anything financially back. No subs, no, you know, merch, no nothing like that. You know, for my Christmas event, you know, we do shirts and stuff, but yeah, like, I'm just not in a place I can do that. Like it's just not, you know, and that's not me saying it to make everybody be like, oh, we got to do more so he can do more. No, I mean, that'd be nice, but no, you know, it's to me, like Sasha just said, time. So what do I do every other Saturday? Is I make sure we play a game that everybody can play for free and join in on and have fun. That's my giving back. You know, we create memories together and we have a great time. And you know, I want to be playing Call of Duty, bro. Like I want to go play COD, but instead I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna play, you know, Fall Guys, Among Us, whatever it is we decide to play that night as a unit, have fun, create those memories. Which at the end of the night, I'm more thankful for than I would have been if I would have played God. So it's a win-win. Like I don't lose there. So yeah, yeah. For any of you that are listening and trying to learn and all that, yeah, don't give what you can't afford to give. Don't outstretch yourself. Don't hurt your relationship at home trying to be, you know, interactive in 1,000 streams and all that. Don't do none of that if you can't do it. You know, for the people that you can, do so. You know, but other than that, yeah, just there's a line and you have to draw it yourself, you know, for sure. But
I know
yeah,
it's
dude.
a weird feeling for sure because Twitch is one of those things, streaming in general is one of those things where instead of having like a company pay you, like if you had like a 9 to 5, your audience is paying you to do so, which is weird because there's no middleman there. Because like whenever there's a movie, the middleman is the movie theater. They're taking the money that's ending up going to the box office and they end up making money for the actors and everything. So there's that middleman there. For us, there is no middleman other than Twitch, right? So it's completely crowd funded. So you got to know that you're not taking. And Lucky, I'm talking to you specifically now. You earn whatever money you're given because you're creating content that people enjoy. So don't feel like you're taking something from somebody whenever that happens. And whatever somebody decides to do with their money, they're a grown ass adult.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yes. But if they can't decide if they should spend that money or not, that's on them at the end of the day.
Right.
Now, will I tell people not to do so if I know that they're in a position that they should not be doing that? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they're going to make their own decisions. So you can always advise them to not do so, but you can't feel bad about accepting money whenever you're doing something that you're doing for free right now. Yeah. Like if we're looking at the money that I've made so far this month, I'm making like $6 an hour right now.
Okay.
Which, you know, that's great for streaming, honestly, for me. Like I'm happy with that. But I could make more at McDonald's.
Facts, and you get free lunch.
Double quarter pounder. Let's go.
Sorry, fat kid in me was like, free.
Free?
He said free food. I'm
Free
in.
nuggies?
Yeah,
I'll take the nuggies.
the nuggets are free.
Are good. So just don't feel like you're taking anything from anybody though, because
Yeah, dude.
at the end they are wanting to give you that because they think your content is worth that.
Right. Okay, Lucky. Okay. You're good. You're good people. Okay, kid?
On the inside, he's saying, "Nah, taking it."
Yeah, we've changed his perception on this 0%. If anything, now he feels like he owes more.
He's like, "I'll give them all the money back."
Give him all the money.
We go to his next live and he's no longer an affiliate. He's backed out of being an affiliate. No more.
He
of
said,
that.
"Stop giving me money."
Right. Yeah. No, but I thought that was really cool what you said. Like, yeah, like, you know, doing emotes, you know, or doing like all the time that we put in for clips and emotes and, you know, special things that we put on, you know, Temple Feud, stuff like that. Like all that time behind the scenes that we felt, you know, last episode that we weren't appreciated for. We are appreciated for it through them. You know, they prove it, you know, by their loyalty of being here and all that. You know, so sometimes it's unspoken when we get, you know, that appreciation given to us, but it's there for sure. So yeah, man, I just, you know there's nothing I can say to you to change you, Lucky, but you're not taking nothing, dude. You've earned and deserve everything you got, so it's whatever. I got to say it, whether you listen or not, that's on you, dude. So but boys, I think that is it. I think we have met our time today. Hopefully one of you guys out there listening, we've helped you in some type of way, because I know, trust me, like I said, I could super relate, they could relate. You know, again, that's why we do this podcast. We've been in your shoes, we felt what you felt, we've thought what you've thought, you know. And if you thought something that we didn't mention here, or you just felt like you needed to share it with us, put it down in the comments. Much love. Thank you guys for the support. Stream PC out.